What kind of spell has that man cast on you? One who doesn't even dare let you meet his parents. She swung her arm sharply. The sharp crack of the porcelain shattering on the marble stung her eardrums. As shards flew, she saw her own distorted face in her mother's pupils, a madness fostered by Luca's tales of a Chelsea villa and double the dowry. Her phone vibrated in her pocket. Luca's voice, bubbly as champagne, came through. "Darling, should we choose rose gold for the wedding ring?" She didn't catch the faint feminine chuckle in the background as Sophia's fingertips traced the curve of the blue and white porcelain vase. First, they brushed the curled, intertwined lotus pattern at the rim, then sank into the grooves of the cracked ice pattern below. Those fine lines, like frozen spiderwebs, were cold enough to seep into her bones. She remembered her mother Elena saying the vase had been her great-grandmother's dowry, brought back from Venice in 1920. Back then, her great-grandmother had clutched it as she fled through war zones, and even now, faint scratches from shrapnel lingered on the base. Outside the floor-to-ceiling windows, Milan's sunset was sinking behind the distant church spires. Streaks of golden red light sliced diagonally into the living room, dyeing the leather sofa and crystal chandelier the color of congealed blood. Sophia's nails unconsciously dug into the vase's cracked ice pattern as her voice, rough as sandpaper glass, broke the silence. "Either you accept Luca, or you'll never have me as your daughter again." Elena's lips trembled violently. The steam from the Earl Grey tea in her bone china cup was fading by the second. "That boy won't even let you meet his parents. Don't you find that strange? Last weekend, you said you were going to London, and he still made up an excuse about canceled flights, didn't he? Because his parents are in London managing their finance business." Sophia tightened her grip on the vase's neck. The cold porcelain dug into her palm. Looking up, she saw her own reflection in her mother's eyes. Hair askew, lipstick smudged at the corners, like a provoked cub. Before she finished speaking, her arm was already raised. The moment the blue and white porcelain hit the marble floor, the sharp crack exploded through the living room like thunder. Sophia shuddered as she watched the shards scatter. The largest piece, etched with the intertwined lotus pattern, grazed the tip of her Jimmy Choo heels, leaving a faint white scratch. Smaller shards rolled under the coffee table, jostling the teacup Elena had just set down. With a clatter, the cup toppled over, and brown tea stains spread across the cream-colored carpet like an ugly flower. "You're insane." Elena's voice suddenly sounded distant. She stumbled backward, her lower back slamming into the edge of the coffee table. A photo frame on the table crashed to the floor, its glass shattering. Inside, the photo of Sophia and her father was wrinkled by tea stains. "For a man you've known for 3 months, you'd throw away something passed down through our family?" Sophia's fingertips touched her phone in her jeans pocket. The phone case, inlaid with Swarovski crystals Luca had given her, was heart-shaped and dug into her fingertips. Luca's voice still lingered in her ears from the night before. "Darling, after we get married, I'll transfer the ownership of that Chelsea villa with the rose garden to you. Then your mother will see I'm not the man she thinks I am." Her nails dug into her palm, leaving red crescent marks. "I'm moving into Luca's apartment tomorrow." She stepped over the porcelain shards toward the door. The sole of her expensive suede shoe crunched over the fragments, a sound like teeth gnawing on bone. As she reached the entrance hall, a soft rustle came from behind her. Elena was kneeling on the floor, picking up the shards. Her finger was cut, and droplets of blood fell onto the cracked ice pattern of the porcelain, vividly red. The loud bang of the bedroom door shook the Madonna statue on the wall, sending dust cascading from the edge of its frame. Sophia walked to her dressing table. The warm light of the desk lamp fell on 3 keychains. A silver one for the apartment in Borgo Piazzo, a brass one for the small downtown apartment, and a black one for the first property she'd sold before marriage. When she signed the papers last week, her lawyer had warned her, be careful with premarital assets, but her mind had been filled only with Luca's words. "We're family. Why split what's yours and mine?" Her phone screen lit up suddenly. Luca had sent a photo, a white dining table set with silver cutlery, a golden brown steak in the center, and the faint logo of the Ritz Hotel in the corner. His caption read, "When you come, we'll have dinner here too." Sophia's lips had just curled into a smile when she noticed a blurry shape in the photo's corner. It looked like a woman's curly hair. She frowned, then convinced herself it was a waitress. "Do you need help packing?" Martha the housekeeper's voice came softly from outside the door, tentative and cautious. "Pack all the bags in the walk-in closet and the jewelry box on the bottom shelf of the dressing table." Sophia opened the safe in her nightstand. Inside lay a check for 300,000 euros, the remaining payment from selling her property. Her fingertips brushed the edge of the check. The sharp paper cut her skin slightly. She remembered Luca talking about Italian wedding customs. The bride's dowry gets doubled as a gift in return. "My mom received a jewelry box from my dad back then." From downstairs came her father Marco's suppressed roar. Let her go. When that liar shows his true colors, she'll know she was wrong. Marco's voice was tinged with helplessness. Sophia suddenly recalled how he'd sided her like this when he was ill. Back then, she was little, and she'd hidden his blood pressure medication just to make him play with her. Sophia rolled her suitcase over the woolen hallway carpet. From downstairs, she heard Elena's sobs, intermittent like strings soaked in rain. The thought made her stomach twist, but her phone vibrated again. Luca had sent a voice message, his tone as bubbly as champagne. Darling, I'm at the jewelry store looking at wedding rings. Do you prefer the platinum one from Cartier or the rose gold one from Van Cleef? I think rose gold suits your skin tone better. There was a faint feminine laugh in the background. Sophia pressed the phone to her ear 3 times before convincing herself it was a shop assistant's voice. The elevator mirror reflected her red-rimmed eyes, smudged mascara still clinging to the corners. As the taxi passed via Monte Napoleon, the luxury goods in the shop windows glinted. Sophia suddenly rolled down the window. The early autumn wind rushed in, carrying the scents of coffee and bread, drying the moisture at the corners of her eyes. She pulled out her phone and messaged Luca. I'm heading to Piazza di Spagna. I have a surprise for you. She remembered that when Luca passed Piazza di Spagna last week, he'd stared at the window of a jewelry store and said, "Those sapphire earrings are beautiful. They'd look even better on you." The taxi stopped in front of the jewelry store. Sophia pushed open the door, and her high heels clicked against the stone pavement. Johnny, the store manager's eyes lit up when he saw her. He hurried over. "Miss Sophia, you're just in time. Your fiancé ordered these earrings this morning and said to wait for you to try them on." He turned and fetched a velvet tray from the counter. Inside lay a pair of sapphire earrings. The stones glowed with a deep blue light under the spotlights, like 2 drops of frozen seawater. "Wrap them up." Sophia's hand trembled slightly as she pulled out her black card. Sweat on her fingertips made the card slip. This card held the money from selling her Borga Piazza apartment, the one with the lake view, her father's favorite. But when Johnny handed her the POS machine, she signed without hesitation, her handwriting so scribbled she could barely recognize it. By the time she walked out of the store, dusk had spread over Piazza di Spagna. The Trevi fountain glimmered like scattered gold. Tourists held up their phones to take photos, their laughter mixing with the sound of water. Sophia fished €2 from her wallet, both minted in 2023, the year her father died. She suddenly remembered it was his death anniversary. That morning, Elena had reminded her, "Go lay flowers for your dad," but she'd forgotten all about it. Just as she was about to toss the coins into the fountain, a familiar chuckle came from behind her. Sophia spun around. The cuff of her Chanel coat caught a tourist camera strap. With a snap, the strap broke, and the jewelry box in her hand slipped into the fountain. "My earrings!" She knelt down in such a hurry that her knee hit the stone step, making her gasp in pain. Water splashed onto her cream-colored skirt. She reached in and finally touched the velvet box. It was soaked through. Cold water dripped between her fingers, just like the rain-soaked collar of Luca's shirt when he'd kissed her in the rain, tinged with the scent of cologne. Her phone rang at that moment. The screen flashed with Mom. Sophia stared at the caller ID, watching it light up and dim 7 times before going dark. She didn't dare answer, afraid of hearing Elena's sobs, even more afraid of wavering herself. At the bottom of the fountain, euro coins glinted coldly, like countless pairs of eyes mocking the wish she'd made. She'd prayed, "I hope to be with Luca forever." Sophia's fingertips, pale from the water, clutched the jewelry box to her chest. Water from the box's corner trickled down her arm and into her collar, making her shiver. Suddenly, a click sounded behind her, the shutter of a camera. She spun around and met the flustered eyes of an Asian boy holding a DSLR. "I'm so sorry, so sorry. I didn't mean to take your photo. It's just the fountain's light is so beautiful." The boy quickly put away his camera, apologizing repeatedly. "It's fine," Sophia replied mechanically, realizing her voice was hoarse, as if she'd swallowed sand. Her soaked skirt clung to her calves. When the wind blew, it was bone-chilling, like countless cold tongues licking her skin. Her phone vibrated again. This time, it was a message from Luca. "Baby, I'm trying on suits, a peak lapel one from Dolce & Gabbana. What do you think? I think it'll be perfect for meeting your parents." Beyond the sound of fabric rustling in the background, a woman's voice faintly said, "It suits you well." Sophia's fingertips hovered over the screen, about to reply, "It looks nice," when her mother's name popped up, this time a text. "I found the address where Luca's father works. It's a construction site on the outskirts of Como. Tomorrow at 10. Dare you come with me to see it?" Water droplets from her hair dripped onto the screen, blurring the words construction site. Sophia's thumb began to shake. Just last week, Luca had told her his father was in London's financial district for an international meeting, even sending her a photo of the London Eye from his office window. She pressed hard on the screen and typed, "Stop talking nonsense. Luca's dad is a financier. How could he be at a construction site?" The moment the message sent, she pressed too hard, and her phone slipped from her hand. With a plop, it fell into the fountain. She scrambled to fish it out. The screen was black, only a faint glow flickering at the edge. She pressed the power button several times, and when the screen finally lit up, it reflected her distorted face. Hair stuck to her forehead, lipstick smudged, like a clown. Johnny, the jewelry store manager, hurried over with a dry towel. "Miss Sophia, shall I call you a taxi? Your clothes are all wet." The towel he handed her reeked of a men's cologne, one Luca always wore. Inside the taxi on the way back, the air conditioning was cranked up. Sophia's teeth began to chatter. The driver glanced at her several times in the rearview mirror before finally asking, "Miss, are you sure you don't want to go to the hospital? You look very pale. Go to Via Monte Napoleon, number 21. As Sophia spoke Luca's apartment address, she noticed green moss from the fountain still stuck under her fingernails, ugly like a stain. The taxi stopped in front of a white apartment building. The doorman, a man with a bushy beard, frowned when he saw her. "May I help you find someone?" "Luca Ricci. He lives in apartment 502 of this building." Sophia pulled out her phone and brought up the photo of the access control Luca had sent her. In the photo, Luca stood in front of an elevator, and the wall behind him read, "Via Monte Napoleon 21. The doorman took the phone, looked at it, then handed it to the security captain beside him. The security captain squinted at it for a long time, then suddenly laughed. "Miss, did you mix up the address? This is the elevator of number 22 next door. There's no resident named Ricci in this building." Sophia's head buzzed, as if struck by a heavy hammer. She grabbed the security captain's arm, her voice trembling. "That's impossible. Just last week, he sent me a photo taken from the balcony of this building. You can see the Duomo di Milano." "You mean number 22? The security captain pointed to the gray apartment building next door. "Apartment 502 of that building was rented out last week, but I don't think the tenant's name is Ricci." At that moment, a downpour suddenly erupted. Large raindrops hit the ground, splashing up sprays of water. Sophia stood in the narrow alley between the two buildings, watching the lights turn on in number 22. A silhouette on the third floor looked just like Luca. He was holding a long-haired woman by the waist. The woman held a glass of red wine, and they stood so close it looked like they were kissing. "Liars!" Sophia suddenly lost control. She kicked a nearby trash can. It clattered to the ground, spilling garbage everywhere. The commotion attracted patrol officers. Two men in fluorescent vests hurried over, their flashlights blinding her. "Miss, are you okay?" One of the officers recognized her. He'd seen Sophia at the charity Gala Marco's company had hosted last year. "You're Mr. Marco's daughter, aren't you? Your mother reported you might be the victim of a scam earlier and asked us to keep an eye out for you." Elena's tearful voice suddenly came over the walkie-talkie. "Is she near number 21? Have you found her?" When Sophia heard her mother's voice, she turned and ran. Her high heels slipped on the wet stone pavement. She nearly fell several times. She collapsed on the steps at the alley's entrance. The elbow of her Chanel coat was torn, revealing the lining underneath. She'd sewn a photo of Luca inside it, taken on their first date. Luca had his arm around her shoulders, smiling brightly. The rain poured harder, and cold water streamed down her hair and her collar, soaking the photo until Luca's face blurred. Her phone vibrated suddenly, a photo from an unknown number. In it, Luca stood by a hotel bed in a bathrobe. On the nightstand was a cake with "Happy Birthday, Sophia" written on it. But Sophia's birthday was in March. It was only October. She frantically called the number back, but a mechanical female voice answered. "The number you are dialing is invalid. Please check and try again." Something warm mixed with the rain slid into her mouth. It was salty and bitter. Tears. Just then, Johnny, the jewelry store manager, ran over holding an umbrella. In his hand was a small box. "Miss Sophia, you left the earrings in the store earlier. Also, your fiancé called just now. He said he wants to change the sapphire earrings to ruby ones. And he also said—" Johnny paused, pulling a POS receipt from his pocket. "He signed this morning. Could you check if it's his handwriting?" Sophia took the receipt. The signature was so scribbled it was unrecognizable. Nothing like the neat handwriting Luca used in the love letters he'd written her, which were always dotted with little hearts. This signature was thick and messy, like something a child who'd never been to school might write. The wail of a police siren grew louder as it approached. Sophia looked at her reflection in a nearby shop window. Hair stuck to her face, makeup smudged like an abstract painting, a soaking wet jewelry box clutched in her hand. Inside, the sapphire earrings glinted coldly under the lights, like two icy tears. "Can I help you?" A man in a camel coat approached, holding an umbrella. His coat was damp, looking somewhat disheveled. He pulled out a press ID and handed it to Sophia. "I'm Antonio from Milano Finanza. Your mother hired me to investigate Luca Ricci." Sophia's gaze fell on the embossed seal of the press ID, then shifted to the man's phone screen. It showed a photo of a construction site. A man wearing a hard hat was bending over to carry a sack of cement. His profile had the same doe eyes as Luca, but with more wrinkles at the corners. This is Luca's father, named Giuseppe Livorno. He lives in a workers' dormitory on the outskirts of Como. Not some London financier. Antonio's voice was calm, but it cut into Sophia's heart like a knife. Sophia's stomach suddenly cramped. She remembered Luca saying his father owned a yacht in London and promising to take her sailing. She remembered how Luca would unconsciously touch his collar every time he talked about his father, as if hiding something. Now she understood. He had no idea how a financier was supposed to act. Antonio handed her a tissue. His mother works as a cashier in a supermarket in Como, and his sister has a job in a nail salon. The whole family lives together in an apartment less than 50 square meters. He paused, then said a name. Luca's real name is Luca Livorno. Livorno is the name of his hometown. It's also the brand of that lemon soda you love. He said it was his favorite name, but really, it's the only one he could think of. You're lying. Sophia grabbed a pebble from the ground and hurled it at a nearby shop window. With a crash, the glass shattered, and the clothes inside were soaked by the rain. The alarm screamed. Antonio quickly held her trembling shoulders. Calm down. His trunk is full of fake property deeds and several passports under different names. His next target is a female heir in Turin. Someone's already reported him. A police car stopped 5 meters away. Elena rushed out of it, her hair wet, her clothes stained with mud. In her hand, she held shards of the ancestral blue and white porcelain. Sophia. Elena ran over, knelt beside her, and carefully placed the shards on the ground. Come home with me, okay? We'll go to the police and get our money back. Sophia looked at the porcelain glaze stuck under her mother's fingernails. She suddenly remembered breaking her mother's perfume bottle as a child. Back then, Elena hadn't scolded her, just hugged her and said, "It's okay. Broken things happen." Tears finally poured out, big drops falling on her mother's back of the hand. Antonio bent down to pick up the jewelry receipt on the ground, dated that morning. This is his third purchase today. The first was a necklace for a red-haired girl. The second was a hotel deposit. And the third was these earrings. Did he tell you he was going to take you to meet his parents? Sophia nodded, too hoarse to speak. She remembered how Luca would go missing every Wednesday afternoon, claiming he was going to play golf with his father. But in the photos, Luca's father had been eating a boxed lunch at the construction site that Wednesday afternoon, holding the cheapest kind of sandwich. Rain dripped from her chin onto the receipt, blurring the numbers. Antonio turned his phone screen toward her, showing Luca's train ticket booking. He bought a train ticket to Vienna this morning, under the fake name Mark Williams. Sophia stared at the unfamiliar name. The croissant she'd had for breakfast churned in her stomach. She doubled over, retching. Elena patted her back. The porcelain shards in her hand dug into Sophia's skin, but made her feel more awake. Just then, Antonio's walkie-talkie crackled to life. A police officer's voice came through. We found Luca at the Schönbrunn Palace Hotel Vienna. He was about to check out with a red-haired girl. We found fake property deeds and 3 passports in their room. Sophia looked up, her vision blurred by rain. She gazed at the distant Trevi fountain, its lights still flickering like countless shattered dreams. She thought of the coins she'd thrown in, of the wish she'd left unspoken. What she truly wanted wasn't a villa with a rose garden, but a simple, stable life with her family, just like when her father was alive. Elena tucked the porcelain shards in her bag and took Sophia's hand. Let's go home. Even broken things can be pieced back together. Maybe. Sophia nodded, letting her mother lead her forward. Her high heels splashed through puddles, making a splash-splash sound, as if saying goodbye to the past. She glanced back at number 22. The lights on the 3rd floor had gone out, and the silhouette of the long-haired girl had disappeared. Inside the taxi, Elena took out a tissue and gently wiped the makeup off Sophia's face. I'm sorry, Elena said, her voice filled with guilt. I shouldn't have been so harsh on you before. I was just afraid you'd be tricked by love, like I was. Sophia shook her head and squeezed her mother's hand. It was cold but strong. She pulled a jewelry box from her arms and opened it. The sapphire earrings were still there, just less shiny now that they'd gotten wet. Mom, let's donate these earrings to a charity. Elena nodded, tucking the box in her bag. Good. We'll do it together. As the taxi passed the Trevi fountain, Sophia looked out the window. The tourists were gone. Only a few cleaners were picking up trash. She thought of her phone, lost in the fountain, of the coins glinting coldly at the bottom. Suddenly, she felt a sense of relief. Some wishes were better broken. At least she could start over. A few days later, when Sophia was giving her statement at the police station, an officer handed her a photo. Luca, in handcuffs, being led out of the hotel by police. His hair was messy, his suit wrinkled, and his usual smile was gone. In the background of the photo, the red-haired girl was crying to the police, holding a necklace Luca had given her. It was the same brand as Sophia's earrings. As she walked out of the police station, Antonio stopped her and handed her an envelope. "Your mother asked me to give this to you." She said it's the pieces of the blue and white porcelain she found, and a photo of your father. Sophia opened the envelope. Inside were several shards of the blue and white porcelain and a laminated photo, one of her and her father. The tea stains on the photo had been cleaned off. She touched the cracked ice pattern on the porcelain shards. Suddenly, she understood. Some things, even if broken, still mattered as long as they stayed by your side. Sunlight filtered through the leaves onto her. Sophia took a deep breath and turned toward the subway station. She needed to go for a medical checkup, then donate the earrings to charity. After that, she wanted to find a new job and live well. In the distance, a church bell rang, its clear sound echoing through the city. Sophia thought of her great-grandmother's story, of the blue and white porcelain vase that had survived the war. She suddenly realized what was truly precious wasn't the vase itself, but the memories it held, and the people who were willing to stand with you, even when everything fell apart.